So anyway, there is no guest, and so the show is going to be what it is. Still talking about the same thing, talking about being 100, talking about walking it like you talk it, talking about the fact that uh, people know you in real life. I think I've said this over and over again. You're you have first of all, it doesn't have anything to do with you even having a podcast or what. People know you in real life. So when you're bragging in the store or bragging in the mall, and you don't know if that person knows who you know, people know you, and they know if your kitchen clean. You understand? They know if your bathroom dirty. People know you, and if it's not just regular people, it is your siblings. Somebody know your mom. People know you, and so putting on airs and trying to be or putting yourself out there as more than what you have or more than who you are, you got to stop because eventually somebody gonna pull your coat. Somebody is going. Somebody gonna bust your bubble. And so I try to be as honest as I can with people. Sometimes I'm a little too transparent to suit some, but it is who that's just who I am. Um, and that's who you should be. Nobody's saying you have to be as transparent as me. Nobody's saying that you have to tell all your business and all. Because as much as I talk, I still don't tell everything. To be honest, but nobody is saying that you have to be like everybody else. But if you say that you're gonna be something and you're gonna listen, be that. Be who you say you are. If you're going to brag about being humble, then be that. And then you don't have to brag about it no more because somebody else is going to brag about your humbleness. If you're a kind and generous person, be that. Somebody else will pick up the mantle and run with that. But people, I'm still hearing this. I cut people off and all that. Listen, you cut people off all you want to. But I promise you that some of the people you think you cut off walked away from you because they sick of you. They're sick of the ugly dog and that pointy headed child you got. I promise you, they didn't just you did. God didn't take them nowhere. They left because people tired of you. And I'm on this topic because my coworker, my new man, this person, her story is always grander than yours, and she'll interrupt you to get hers in. And her adventure of whatever is grander than yours, and it's crazy, but that's how some people are. And if you're not a people person, that's okay. But trying to be in competition with me over who's going to make the customers like I don't understand. Listen, insecurity is a real thing with people because I used to be like that. I used to be very insecure about who I was and how people viewed me. Um, and I can't say you just grow out of it because you don't. Not with age. You grow out of it by becoming more mature and being uh, more solidified in your faith in God. You solidify your faith in God, and God Himself will brush all that insecurity off. Insecurity is I think is dangerous. I think insecurity is just as dangerous as jealousy because I think insecurity comes. I think jealousy is an offshoot of insecurity. And I tell some people I'm jealous of some people for I tell them, but it's not in a way of I want to be you and I no, it's jealous in the way that I wish I had done the things that you had done to get where you are. I wish I had listened to my mama. I wish I had listened to my pastor. I wish I had listened to my mentors. I wish I had listened to them, and I wouldn't be in the predicament that I'm in, especially financially and educational wise. I wish I had gone further, and I'm trying to do that now. But I wish I had done it when I wasn't to the point where when I get home I'm exhausted. I wish I had done it when I had been told that if you do this, you'll get here. But I didn't. I was hard headed. And in my hard headedness is where I am. And this is where the problem comes in with most people because most people blame other people for where they are. Um, Hold the press, hold it. You are where you are because of you, sis, bruh. Did you hear that? You are where you are because of you. All of the decisions you made, whether you had somebody say, well, you decided to take that advice. So that's you. Or you decided not to take that, that's you. You have to be accountable. You have to be able to look yourself in the face in the mirror and say, you did that. You here because of you. As grateful as I am for a place to lay my head and turn a key and it's mine, this is not me. This is not my final stop. This where I'm living is not how I grew up to want to live in. And I don't want to go further because it does sound like I'm being ungrateful, but I'm not. I'm so happy that I get to come home and I ain't got to worry about smiling at nobody when I don't want to. I'm so happy I get to come home and turn my key when I want to, and I ain't got to knock on the door. I'm grateful that I have a place to eat and have clothes on my back and I have a car to drive. As slow as she's driving right now. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the health that I do have. I'm grateful that I get to wake up in the morning and I can take care of myself. I get to put my own clothes on. I get to have the activity. I'm grateful. But it should have been better if I had listened. I'm where I'm at because of me. You ain't where you at because of nobody else. You ain't where you at because of that nigga. You ain't where because your sister, your mama. You're where you're at because of you. Those are the decisions that you made. And until you take accountability for that, you're going to stay where you're at. Or you're going to keep on making the same mistakes over and over again, which I'm very guilty of. Sometimes when I look at myself and I say to myself, you just screwed that up. Why would you screw that up again? That's my reality. And that's a lot of people's reality, but they don't want to face it. They don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. If they sit calling themselves holy, or they want to talk about what's happening on the Real Housewives or wherever, and sisters and brothers and all. Nothing wrong with those shows. I don't watch them, but nothing's wrong with them. But you need to focus on the fact that you screwed up. And there are some things that you need to do to get yourself out of the screwed upness. I made that up. I made that word up. I just did. That you find yourself in. Because you did it. And so when people come in at you and they start bashing on you, you looking at them like, how would they? If you were true and honest with yourself, instead of them bashing on you, you could come back with the affirmation that, yeah, that's true, but I'm working on that. I'm working on me. God ain't finished with me yet. But say it in honesty. Don't say it because it's a nice little saying off of Facebook, or you saw it on a TikTok video. Honestly mean that God is working on you, that you trying to be a better person than you were yesterday. That's why you wake up in the morning. You think you wake up in the morning to make somebody else's day? No, you wake up in the morning so you can be better than you were yesterday. This is your chance. This is your chance to do better than what you did yesterday. I don't care how good the day was yesterday. There's always better. Always. And that's my goal. My goal is to be better than the person I was yesterday. And I'm reaching it. You know why? Because I'm not like I was 5 days ago. I'm not like I was last year, which means I'm making strides. And you can do the same thing. Ain't no 12-step program. Ain't no woman's conference. Sit in your room and give yourself a good cussing out if you have to. Give yourself a good talking to if you have to. Because sometimes that's what it takes. Man, let me tell you. Well, after my mastectomy, no, right before my double mastectomy, this is literally the day before. And I was in the mirror looking at what I was about to have cut off. Seriously. And I don't know, I think I lost my mind for a minute. I literally looked in the mirror at my little tatas that were betraying me by having cancer, and I cussed them out. You can think I'm crazy all you want to, I don't care. But I'm telling you, I felt so much better because ain't no way I was buying $20 and $40 bras all this time, holding y'all up, spending good money that I could have spent at the buffet. And then y'all gonna betray me like, oh, I went in on them. I went in on them. And when I tell you, I felt better when it was over. I felt like I had vindicated myself. And I felt like I had said, I stood up for myself. And I know it sounds crazy, but I promise you I felt better when it was over. And so sometimes we have to look ourselves in the mirror and we got to say, this your fault, sis. Bro, you messed up. Now, how we gonna come out of this? Be sad tonight, cry, get you some Haagen-Dazs, go to your old-fashioned ice cream, do what you gotta do all that. And at the end of it, in the morning, it's gonna be all right. Because now you got a new day to fix the foolishness that you did yesterday. And what you better do before you go to bed is pray that you wake up so you have a chance. That's all I'm saying. All of this is under the category of being true to yourself, being honest with you, being 100 to yourself. That's what this is. And if you can't be honest with yourself, let me tell you something. I used to tell people, I might lie to my mama and my brothers and sisters, whatever. Let's be truthful. I might lie to my pastor. But to myself, who I gotta face, no, I'm not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I don't lie to me. I tell myself the truth about me. And you have to be honest with yourself. You have to, at the very least, take accountability for so-called being 100. And like I said earlier today, some people who claiming to be 100, y'all got too many zeros in there. You need to take one of them off because you barely reaching 10. Because you lie to yourself as much as you lie to other people around you. You've gotten so good. Some people lie so much that they think that all people lie like that. They think some people steal so much, they think, well, everybody steal because I got away with it. It don't work like that. Everybody's not a liar. Everybody's not a con. Everybody's not a manipulator. It just doesn't work that way. Just because you're good at it doesn't mean that everybody does it. Most of the time, and not all the time, but a lot of times when people accuse you of doing things, cheating, lying, they doing it. And the reason they know you doing it, because it takes one to know one, bruh. That's one of the truest. It takes one to know one. And that's how they catch you, because they doing it. And we're not saying all the time. There's not all the time that happens. But the majority of the time, in my opinion, when somebody's accusing you of something, they are so good at it and astute at finding people like that. They know you're doing it. And I tell people all the time, if I ask you a question, I generally already know the answer. I know part of the answer, unless it has something to do with work or freaking computers or the internet or whatever, because I thought I was good at it until I'm just not good at it. But usually if we're in a debate or we are in an argument back and forth, if I ask you a question, I usually know the answer. Especially the question of, are you cheating? Especially the question, or did you take my money? Especially the question of, you trying to play me? I generally know the answer to those questions. So, and most people know the answer to the question they're asking. They're just trying to clarify and get clarity. They're just trying to get clarity in their mind about whatever the question is. And so being 100 sounds really good, but how many people in your life are truly that? How many people in your life can you say without hesitation are 100 in your life? And can you say without hesitation that you are 100 in your life? We don't know. We don't know. And I heard, and I understand cutting people off, and I understand uh, moving people out of your life and all of that other stuff. But if you don't do that the right way, you're in trouble. Willie Moe Jr. said, let me make sure I say it right. He was talking about people being cut off. He said, sometimes you have to untie a relationship instead of cut it. And that thing took me back. I had to cut the radio off after he said it because I needed to think about it. And I'm thinking to myself, that is deep. That is deep. Because cutting it just severs it and you don't have no conversation. You don't have no way to, no closure, no anything. But when you have a knot in your shoe, especially with these, and you trying to get the knot out of anything, you got to work it. You gotta make sure you gotta work at it. Sometimes you gotta put a little pin in there and pull. You gotta really work at it. And sometimes ending a relationship is just as important as starting one. Ending a relationship in a way that gives you the closure that you need, that gives you the ending, that you don't have any more questions, so you don't be up at night thinking I should have said and is just as important as starting a relationship. So sometimes cutting people off is not the right thing to do. Sometimes you got to untie yourself from them, like you untied that knot out them Nikes. Because when you do that, that is how you can get the closure you need. That is how you can get the all of the questions that you need out of the way. And we're not talking about fussing and fighting with that person all day long every day. We're not talking about that. What we're talking about is slowly unraveling the issue of why you guys can't be friends. This is hard to do because when you're angry with somebody, you don't want to talk to them. And nobody, and having a conversation with someone knowing that the friendship is going to be over at the end is daunting. And it's going to be hurtful. But at the end of it, you won't have no more questions. You won't have to worry about, you don't need no closure. And the thing is, if the other person wants to be cut off and they don't want to be cut off, but they don't want to be unraveled, then now you know that is the end of it. You won't get the closure you want. You won't get the unraveling that you want. You won't get any of that. You won't get the answers that you want. And you should be able to move on from that. Because nobody wants to go through life. Listen, I thought I had a friend, and I thought she was going to be a friend because we talked to each other every day, and we went places and we talked and all of that. And I am assuming what happened with that, why the friendship broke up, but I do not know why. But one day when I woke up, she had blocked me from everything. Facebook, and she blocked me from everything, and I couldn't call her or anything. And it shook me because I didn't know what I had done. Good evening, Ms. Deborah. I do not know what I had done. I don't know what I did. And she just was not my friend anymore. And the other day, literally a couple of days ago, last week, I saw her at the doctor's office. And we said hi, and she acted like she didn't recognize me. I know my hair is gone, but I don't think I look that different. But a couple of people have done that to me, act like they don't recognize me when I tell them hi. But it's okay because that's their truth, and that's what they're living with. And I don't know what I did to them, but that's them. But I always speak to people, whether we are at odds with each other or not. I'm going to say hi. I'm not going to hold a conversation with you because we don't have nothing else to say to each other, but I will speak because you speak to people. That's what you do. You walk in the room and you say, hey. But seeing her made me go back over the things that we had talked about. And I still don't know what happened. And that she's the second woman that I've been friends with that has done that. And I don't know why. But I do know this. they were, and I got another friend who does it. Their boyfriends or whatever, they won't introduce me to, listen, it ain't got nothing to do with me being sexual and all. It's just they won't introduce me to certain people in their lives. And I don't know why. Um, I know that I'm very outgoing and I'm very friendly. And I'm not talking about flirting. I'm not, because if it was another woman, I would. I'm just a people person, and sometimes people don't like you to come in the room and take their shine. And I know that's what's wrong with my coworker. She doesn't like the fact that I shine brighter than she does. I can say it. I'm saying it, and it's not. Listen, I'm first of all, I'm not going to explain myself. I don't know why I keep doing it, trying to make myself not sound. I just outshine her. Period. Because I'm a people person for real, not something that I do because I come to work. You showed me you were a piece of people person when I said we should all get together and go out on the weekend, and you said to me, "Oh, that'll never happen because I don't do that." Okay, so now I know how to. I know where you stand. And if you stand that way and you coming at me like that, I'm gonna treat you as such. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what people think 100 means. Maybe it means something in a different language, and I missed that class because I have no clue. Talk to me, Miss Deborah, because somebody tell me what is 100 to you? What is it about people saying I cut people off when in reality, if you ask those people what really happened, they ran from you because they won't deal with you. They don't want to talk to you because you listen. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me, people. I don't know. I don't understand a lot of things that people say, and I don't think they understand it either. I think they just say it because it sounds good. And that's it. Um, but I think that you understanding the idea that sometimes people need to be unraveled rather than being cut off is something that we should strive to do instead of just cutting relationships off, because you may be able to save it, because inside of those knots you might find something that you didn't know, and they might find something that they didn't know, and you might actually be able to save a friendship, which I think is a better way to go. And in saving the relationship, you have gained an understanding of another person, and you have shown love to another person. And so when he said that, I just like that. And then I have another friend who I think it's going in the same vein, but it's much more radical. And her thing is this: don't let people push you into hell. These people claiming to be 100 and get in places where they embarrass you, saying that that's tough love, or they say things about you jokingly and it's not funny to you. These people will push you to hell because they're going to push words out of you that are not appropriate in proper company. And that's it. Don't allow other people to push you into hell. And when I say pushing you into hell, I mean don't allow people to push you into this depression or being upset with yourself or into sadness, or don't let anybody don't let anybody control your atmosphere. If you are as fierce and as devoted to God as you say you are, you should be able to walk into a room and change the entire atmosphere. Everybody in the room should become subject to the anointing in you. When I walk into work, that's what I tell myself. Seriously, when I walk in this door, everything is going to come subject to the anointing in me. Don't have nothing to do with Barbara, Bobby, whoever I want to call myself that day. It has to do with the anointing and on my life. And it has to do with how I have to do it. And sometimes I've said that, and I've just gotten out of my car from crying for 20 minutes, or I've cried all morning to get to work because I'm just full of. I just want to get. Because I'm tired and I'm exhausted and I don't feel well, but I'm gonna go in here and ain't nobody else gonna know. And sometimes you got to push yourself that hard, that fierce, to do what needs to be done. Don't let nobody change how you feel from one moment to the next. And when my coworker first got there, I let her change my entire attitude for that day. And I regretted it because I knew there were people that needed the ministry that I have, which is to make them smile or laugh. And they missed it because I lost my shine. I spent most of my time in the bathroom until I realized it ain't me, it's her. She insecure. I don't have to change how I talk. I don't have to change the way I speak. I don't have to use these big college words. I don't have to do all of that stuff to please anybody. I can be me and still get the job done. And so that's where we are. I go to work and I get my job done. And that's just how it is. So we're going to be cutting the show off a little bit because I did, like I said earlier, I had a co-host and that didn't work out. And so I don't want to sit here and repeat myself over and over again because I had questions and there was going to be, you know how co-hosts are. But thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. Go to Uppity Negro and buy some apparel, t-shirts, sweatsuits, hats. I even have lashes. And I'm working on candles right now. Just trying to learn how to do that. I have a women's breakfast on May 21st. The breakfast is $35. It's going to be from 7 till about 12. And it's just always beautiful. You can inbox me on Uppity Negro, or you can inbox me on Bobby Takes Over. Bobby is Bobbe, Takes Over. Inbox me and I'll give you all the rest of the details. What else? And I only have 25 seats and half of those are gone. I don't know who, somebody keeps coming on here trying to personal chat with me and I don't play them kind of games. And also my book is being proofread because it needs to be. But you can basically pre-order it. It's called Ma. I actually don't know how much it's going to cost, but I'm pretty sure it won't be more than $10 or $15. Probably in that range. But you can pre-order on on either one of those pages I just gave you. And so that's where we are. Be true to yourself. Be real to yourself. If you're going to lie to everybody else, but not yourself. And I promise you'll sleep better at night. You won't have to worry about some of the things that we worry about. We don't need to worry about it. If you just be true to yourself, you don't have to lay up at night worrying if anybody going to find out who you really are. If you just really be you, nobody won't find out because you're just already there. I tell people all the time, if somebody come tell you something that sounds strange and you ain't heard that story from me, they lying to you. Because I'll tell you whatever you need to know, however graphic it may be, however hurtful it may be. I'm gonna own up to it. Because I knew I made up my mind to do that when I started doing this long time ago, while I was driving truck. Because I watched people who started doing this, and then I watched other people dig into their background and then basically stalk them with the information. You see that stuff that happened to that Cardi B girl? That's ridiculous. And I just watched Darius Cooks. I loved him until I found out that he has a thing against people who don't like him, who don't necessarily like his food or whatever. And he's been stalking these people. What in God's name is wrong with you? You're going to lose everything you have because you have decided, man, to use your platform to hurt and embarrass and basically dog walk other people. I don't have time to worry about nobody else's business. I'm trying to live. I don't have time to worry about nobody else's business. I'm just trying to be successful. I don't have time to worry about nobody else's business. I'm trying to be who God wants me to be because I don't want to go to hell. I want to go to heaven. And I don't care about y'all people who don't believe. I believe what I believe, and I don't want to go to hell. Period. So be you, unapologetically you. I am a Black woman, raised by a Black woman who was raised by a Black woman. And then the village that I was raised in was Black women. And I was talking to the girlfriend from high school. She was my best friend. Best friend. Her name was Felicia. And Lisa, I told her the other night that I don't think that her and another young lady named Tara did not know the impact that they had on my life and how I would have ended my life if I had not had them to lean on. And they pulled me through, not knowing that that's what they were doing by just being my friend. And even after all of that, I walked away from that friendship because I didn't think I was worth it. I didn't think I was worthy of that kind of friendship because I knew that I had done so many, and it wasn't that I had done the bad things. It wasn't that. It was that I felt dirty because I have survived molestation. I have survived rape. I have survived physical and verbal and emotional abuse. I'm a survivor. And now I'm surviving breast cancer. And I've survived all of those things. But back then, before I knew who I was, I didn't realize who I was till I was 47. But back then I felt dirty and I felt unnatural. And I felt I was thinking about things that nobody, I felt like no one else had been through what I've been through. That nobody, because I watched the people that I admired, I saw them in their not in finished process, because everybody's in a process, but I saw them in a better state that they had begun in. And I could not fathom for the life of me how they got there. And I walked away from them too. But as I came back as a different person, as the person that with more confidence, I listened to them and I heard their stories for real this time. And I learned that the process that they went through, that everybody has a process. Everybody starts at the bottom and now we're here. Not just me. It wasn't a thing that God was just punishing me with. And I want somebody who's listening to understand that. There is a process. Before the red bottoms and the makeup and the YouTube channel that's blowing, baby, there was a process. And just because people don't want to share that process with you, there is a process. Everybody goes through a process. Even those people that scratch off and become millionaires, there was a process. Understand that nobody gets there overnight. And don't judge yourself by where they are. How that's me. I do that, and I have to catch myself still because I still have that thing where I say, "Oh God, I'm 53 and I don't own anything. I don't have children. It doesn't matter because I don't have to judge myself against nobody. I'm running my own race at my own pace, and I'm doing my own thing. And when it's time for me to blow up, I'm gonna blow up. When it's time for me to be there, I'm gonna be there. When it's time for you to be there, sis and bruh, you gonna be there. Period. When it's time for you to be there, you gonna be there. That's it. You don't have to run no race with nobody else. You ain't gotta keep pace with nobody else. You ain't gotta do shit. You gotta do none of that. All you got to do is be you. 100% you. Take off the mask. Take off the get rid of the fake voice. Get rid of all of that. And be you. That's it. Because nobody is better at being you than you. Many have tried to be you, and you have tried to be someone else. But you always have to come back to who? You. Who you got to face in the midnight hour? And I ain't talking about at night. I'm talking about your midnight hour. You. When that man told me, the lady told me that I had breast cancer, I didn't realize that in that moment that I would lose my entire family, all of my siblings. And now I'm trying to find my brother. I'm going to do this again like I did this morning. And maybe somebody will know. His name is how to find people. His name is P.D. White, and he's an addict, yes. And short of calling every hospital in Alabama, which is what I'm planning on doing, and every rehab and police station, I need to know where he is because I'm concerned. I really am. And I'm not going to say what I said last night, because every time I say it, it makes me cry, but it's the truth. I want to find him. I need to take care of him. I need to do what my mom was doing, and that was just making sure her child stayed alive. I'm not crying. I refuse to cry. And I just hope that he is among the living, and that I can't do it. I thought I was going to be able to do it. I can't. Okay. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. Again, his name is P.D. White, and it's P-E-T-E-Y. And he sometimes go by Dre. That's his middle name. His name is P.D. Andre White, and it used to be Tillery. And I would really love to know where he is, just to know. Okay, that's what I need to know. Anything else, and I'm gonna lose my mind. So that is my oh, loving people. I can understand why some people don't want to love other people. They want to close themselves off into this box where you can see me, but you can't get here. And I understand why people do that, because to lose a person that you love, I think, is one of the hardest things that we go through as humans. I'm really trying hard. Love will make you do things that you wouldn't even think twice about doing if you weren't in love or loving a person. I don't know if I told this story before, but my mama loved her children and her grandchildren. I watched my mama. I watched Trisha, my mama, at 3 o'clock in the morning, walk into a crack house, told them to give her her son. And she said, I'll pay you Friday. That Friday, she called me back to take her back. She paid them their money and brought them dinner in Tupperware containers. I don't know if I could do that for my brother, but I would do it on the strength of her if it came to that. I've watched her borrow money to pay off dealers because my brother owed them money to keep him alive. And I hope and pray, God, I want to do a show without crying, that in her absence, I have not dropped the ball. And lost him to his own demons. He just has a lot of things in his life that he needs closure in. And my mom did what she could do. My brother's been an addict since high school, when some white boy, football player, took him to a party and he tried coke for the first time. And he was hooked wholeheartedly. Knowing that that boy who introduced him to that did not know that my brother was fighting demons, that my brother had issues that years of therapy, it would take years of therapy to fix, but it would take one trip to the altar to fix. Be careful of the people that you think are falling off from you or that you're cutting off. Be sure that the people that you're cutting off are the people that need to be cut off, and that you're not cutting them off for some selfish gain of yours because you don't like the truth that they tell. Because some people cut people off because they can't stand the truth. They can't stand the fact that somebody sees through the makeup. Because you can walk around with your face beat all day long. But somebody got discernment. Somebody see you. I said it at the top of the show. Somebody knows you in real life. You can't con everybody. You can't manipulate everybody. Understand this. And conning people and manipulating people is not always about taking their money. Some people live a whole marriage conning and manipulating that person because that ain't you. Some people go through entire relationships for years manipulating and conning people into thinking they're something that they're not because they're so good at it. Be careful, because the person that gives you your real honest truth is the person that loves you. That's the person that you should keep, and you should hold on to them, as painful as it is sometimes. There are people in my life that give me the flat-footed, God-honest truth, and I do not like them most of the time. But I tell you this, I bet you I won't cut them off. Because without that truth, without their honesty, I am doomed to repeat stupid stuff. The love that we are supposed to give to other people starts at home. And then it should ripple effect out of home to your neighbors, to the neighborhood, to the community, to the state, to the nation, to the world. You won't hear me talk about Ukraine. You won't hear me talk about the people, Russia. There are more commercials on TV about homeless dogs, horses, whales. Oh my God, don't even talk about turtles, zebras, and whatever else animals that God put on this earth and He's been taking care of all this time, than it is commercials on the fact that most children go home in the United States, go home and don't eat. Only get food, breakfast, lunch, and a little snack maybe at school. And you showing me commercials about dogs that's shivering in the cold? You can go straight to hell with that. So, I know I'm not sorry. I meant what I said. Y'all can go straight to hell with them commercials. Because I promise you, God gonna take care of them dogs. Just take the chains off them and take them out the cage and let them run free. They'll be good. Because God gonna take care of them. He's been doing it all this time. You worried about all of that. And you don't speak to your neighbor, but you're a member of the society that Audubon that takes care of birds. You haven't spoken to your neighbor or your mom. Let's be real, your sister or your mama in years, because you got mad because they got mad because it was raisins in a potato salad. So now you ain't talking to them no more. But you give to charity. Oh, I give to Goodwill, I give to my church, I pay my tithes. What's the point of all that when you can't even feed a homeless person that's been begging on the corner in front of your job since 1942? Do you really think God is worried about what people wear to church? Or He worried about, did you talk? Why you didn't wave at your neighbor this morning? Did you call the elderly couple down the street anytime during the pandemic to see if they was eating? Because I'm gonna tell you this: people eating cat and dog food is real. Because some of the cat and dog food in the store look better than human food, but it's cheaper. I have never had to resort to that, but I have eaten out the trash can. You ain't never been hungry enough. You ain't never been. I tell people to stop saying you're hungry. You really want something to eat. Hungry is eating what you. Again, I was where I was at because of the decisions that I made. You ain't never been hungry till you eat what you wouldn't eat on a in a normal situation. I'm not going into my little story tonight, my history or whatever, because I don't want to cry no more. I thought I was gonna get through this one without crying. I almost made it. I almost made it. I almost made it, Deborah. I almost made it. We are living in a time where we need to be focused on being good to people because we're going to need them. I'm not a prophet, but something coming. You better gird up your loins and you better stock your pantry. Because it's just the beginning of where we're going in this electronic age, where you can bully somebody so bad on a phone that they kill themselves. Where you can harass somebody so much on your phone or your computer till they have to have therapy. Boy, you better hope God let you in. You better ask him for some forgiveness. Boy, y'all better pray. I don't care who you pray to. I don't care if you pray to Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. You better pray to who you think is bigger than you. Because you're going to need it. Because the things that, the evilness that people think to do to each other, we ain't even talking about in person. We're talking about over a phone or a computer. The evilness that invades people's minds to do to another human being and will let their dog lick them in the mouth out of love. Oh, I can't. I don't know where that came from, but it came out. So who are we as people? And what is God thinking? I'm not excluding me. Child, I have not reached perfection at all. And I ain't ready to reach it either. Because I know once you reach it, once you reach perfection, you going home to see the Father. As much as I love Jesus, I'm not ready to meet him in person. I just like talking to him long distance. We good. We good as long distance relatives. But I tell you this, we some wicked folks. We think of the worst and the most devilish and the most demonic things to do to another person over a text, over a phone call, over nothing. I just told my godson the other day, all the stuff that's happening in high school right now, you gonna barely remember it. And those people, you're gonna barely remember their name if you remember it at all. The girls who picked at me so bad in middle school and high school, I don't remember any of their names. And that's the truth. I do not remember any of their names. And I barely remember what they look like. Because I realized they don't matter to me. They did not contribute to who I am now at all. The trauma that I suffered from some of the other things in my life, that did. But them, no, didn't contribute to any of it. I came into my own because it was that time for me. And you're going to have that time too. And I know I feel like I'm all over the place, but I think that I'm going down the same road. And it's all about being true to yourself, being honest with you, knowing who you are in the kingdom. Sorry about that close up. Knowing who you are as a person, knowing who you are in your own eyes. To hell with everybody else. I'm talking about your mama, brother. Oh, it doesn't matter. You better know who you are in your own eyes. Because once you grasp hold of who you are in your own eyes, Can't nobody, can't nobody shake that. Now you're going to have trials and tribulations, and it's going to buckle you over. But I promise you, when you buckle over, if you hit your knees or you go on your face, when you come up, you're going to come up swinging. And you may not even have to do that. Because God, by the time you come up, God done fought that battle. You're just going to come up and just start dusting yourself off and looking for the next adventure, honey. You better know this. And I'm not talking just to you. I'm talking to me. Because getting on here and doing this, and sometimes seeing that thing that says people watching is 0, is very hard to keep going. But I do it. You know why? Because one day it won't say 0. One day it's going to say 1,000, 10,000, 20,000, 1,000,000. And that's my goal. But I bet you this, if it takes having 2 or 3 people watching for a year or a month, that's what it's going to take. And I'm going to keep on doing it because I'm reaching somebody. And even if the only person I'm reaching is me, because I can see myself and I'm getting into my own eye, if I'm the only person I reach, I'm good, babe. I'm good. And so the show almost went an hour. I almost did what I said I was going to do. I love everybody that's on it. Thank you, Miss Deborah. I needed that other person on the other side. And I thank you so much. I don't know who else that is watching. I think Lisa's watching. Thank you so much. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to have the activities. I'm grateful that I am able to take care of myself in a situation where some people have to have home care. God knew that I would have to do this by myself without my, sorry, y'all. Oh, Jesus. I really think it's just a medication. My real friends say, it ain't no medication. You always was a crybaby. So whatever, I say medication. But I really am grateful for everyone that's here. I didn't think I could do this without my mama. And God knew that I would have to do it without Trisha and without my sister or my brothers or my nieces or my nephews. He just knew. And he gave me the strength to do it. And I give my mom her flowers. I gave them to her for sure before she left, and I'll give them to her and my daddy, that they gave me the strength and let me learn and fall. And then I had to get my own self back up, not out of hatred or tough love or any of that, but out of pure, unadulterated, uncompromisable love. Because the only way you're going to learn how to get up is if you fall. I just told my coworker that about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You better let your children hit rock bottom, because if you don't teach them, if you don't let them hit rock bottom, and you keep rescuing them because you want to be their God will either remove you, or when you're gone, they're not going to be able to cope because they're not going to know how to pray. And if y'all don't believe in God, they're not going to know how to go to whoever they go to. They're not going to be able to pull themselves up. And I thank God for all of the trials and tribulations that I had. Even though at the time I thought everybody, my mom and them hated me and all of that, it made me be able to go through this with my shoulders up and my head up. I have days, today was a rough day for me, and I'm gonna cry some more. But I made it. And if God wake me up in the morning, I'll do better tomorrow than I did today. And it may not be no tears. And we're gonna praise God for that too. But promise you that. So we're getting ready to go. I have like 6 minutes, but I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. Thank you for those who are watching. Thank you for those who are going to uppitynegro.store and buying my merchandise. Thank you for the ladies who are coming to my prayer breakfast on May 21st. Thank you for those who are pre-ordering my book before it even comes out. Thank you for those who are saying that this is not worth anything and we're not going to watch it because she's not talking about that. I thank y'all too, because you had to watch a little bit of it to get that idea about it. Now, how about that? How about that making lemonade out of lemons with a little extra sugar? And so I'm in pain right now. And so I'm going to go. But thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you next time. Next Tuesday at 8 o'clock, we'll see you. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.